founders under Crypto Spotlight. It's a part of our 6 months initiative called Initialize Metaverse. As you all know, Initialize Metaverse started with a simple, aim of understanding how the building blocks of Web3 are going to interact with Metaverse. I will not be boring you with the same information, but welcoming our guest today, Deepansh, from
It's
who's a
always good to plug in, so no issues.
Hi. Uh, Deepansh, who is the co-founder and COO of Polkadex. You all will remember him. He was there with us exactly a year back, talking about Polkadex and what they have been doing. So today's conversation is going to be about learning about their journey and what Polkadex has been doing and what their future plans are. Thank you, Deepansh, for taking out time and being a part of today's session.
Yeah, really appreciate this interview. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Manav, especially when you come from a different background of supporting Web3 projects for as far as I recall. So it's really amazing to be still being in touch and sharing the updates that we have been so far. So it's really great.
Thank you, Deepansh. So, Deepansh, as I remember correctly, last time when we talked a year back, Polkadex had started in 2020, and you guys had done a small raise, and you guys were
Right.
planning to build some couple of applications. So, where has Polkadex reached in this 1 year? What all have you launched? What learnings have you had during this time? Would like to learn about that.
Sure, that's a good point to kickstart conversation as well. And just to mention, I believe last time when we talked, after that we had this mainnet launch, our own
Mhm.
solo chain being up and running, and so far we have close to 140 validators, 1,500 nominators, and a
Lovely.
significant amount of our tokens are staked to make our solo chain decentralized and secure enough to release the products. So that
Awesome.
has been one of our critical milestone, if you can call it, to achieve.
Congratulations. That's a great thing. And I think so you have gotten good enough people to, have that chain working very well for you guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is something really amazing that you only just hear it, but this was the first time we observing it, that we have built such a strong community, because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, whatever products you are building is for your community itself and for a broader audience as and when the value add start to kick in. So we have been blessed with having a very strong community so far, and who
Hmm.
have been regularly, interacting with us, giving us feedback on the products, on the test nets, making sure that we are being, on toes to make things happen, if you will call it in that term. So it's been really amazing. So after mainnet release, we this was our the first milestone to achieve. You can also call it as a phase one, where you make sure that you have the basic infrastructure in place, so that once you're ready with your products, you can release these products on your mainnet itself. So building that foundational level was completed last year itself, and now we have reached to a stage where all the products that includes Polkadex order book, I believe I touched base on it in our last interview.
Hmm.
Anyone who hasn't touched base, just go and watch the previous interview
We
itself,
will
so that I
share that
don't bore.
link. We will share the link in the description for this one, so you guys can have a complete look there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And the order book, the IDO platform. So all
Hmm.
these things now have reached to the stage where it's been audited. It's been shared with the beta testers as well. And now we are reviewing it. And before releasing it to the public testnet, it's just the final steps that we are making sure that, okay, once we release it's in the testnet, people will be able to interact with it, engage with it. And then once given a timeline of at least a 1 month or so, we will release finally on our mainnet. That was live and running last year itself. Uh, and then expanding our team, expanding the protocol, the product itself, to reach out and focus on more on user base, more of a feedback loop kind of a system will be in place. So right now, our target is to make sure that we release things on testnets, then on mainnet, and then run for a couple of months to make sure that our product that were released on the mainnet are secure enough, stable enough, with limited functionalities and features as well. And then from there, start adding features, start opening up more and more tools for the public to use it and leverage Polkadot ecosystem along with the Polkadex order book itself. So yeah.
Awesome. So tell me something. You have been a community focused, starting being focusing
Yeah.
on a community, and you took the feedbacks from the community very in a positive stride. So any particular feedback or any particular message that that really touched your heart, or that that really motivated you, or wanted to change, something that you remember from that?
We have been in direct touch with a lot of our community members, especially we do a lot of AMS just to make sure that
Hmm.
not just we share our success, but we also share the downside or the failures that we've been seeing. So again,
Hmm.
since you're building protocols, you're building products as well, that involves a lot of uh, development, and again that results to certain level of delays, just to make sure that, and we are happy to do that, just to secure that, just to make sure that we are not releasing products that doesn't have any security filter to that, right?
Hmm.
So community have been really supportive of that ideology, where you take your time before releasing the product. Just make sure that whatever you have promised, it's been delivered in the best secure way it is possible. So they have been very supportive of the timeline. And one of the really interesting thing that I've seen is we sometimes don't update our website, right, or the documentation as we go along.
Uh,
So most of the time we get, hey, change this thing, edit this thing. You guys have released this thing, but still not. It's still saying 2020. So this is the the granular details community have been keeping an eye on us and being seeing that, okay, change this thing. So it's really amazing. It's really amazing.
So that's interesting, at least that actually shows that you guys are so busy developing and making your product and ensuring that it gets launched, that you are not
Yeah,
getting the time to do it. So I'm sure the community is appreciative of that,
yeah,
and we are sure that we'll be getting a kick-ass product out
yeah.
by the end of it.
Absolutely.
So somebody is asking, when is the product launch next week?
Yeah, we are planning to release the order book itself with functionalities on the testnet. It's
Mm-hmm.
been structured and circled down to be this week, at the end of this week or early next week, ensuring
Mm-hmm.
that we have received all the feedback from the beta testers, and
Okay.
then it will be released. And given a time, as I mentioned, 30 to 35 days, we will be releasing it on the mainnet itself once we have received the public feedback from the broader audience. We have seen the feedback. So, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So, tell me, you have done this. So, last time when we talked, you were working on a couple of products, right?
Right.
There was a chain, and there were a couple of more things that you guys were doing. So, are you guys launching all of them, or is it just the order book that you guys are concentrating now on, and the other things have been, removed from the roadmap for the time being?
All right. So, Manav, there's a philosophy behind it. Is, of course, if you want to build products, you have to build an ecosystem around it.
Yeah,
So, a
true.
standalone product cannot just fulfill or cannot provide all the value add to the community. So, definitely, there are a lot of value add that you can bring by
Mm-hmm.
building products that kind of becomes a complementary to it, or a missing piece of that person. So that was the ideology behind it, that ultimately we are an application specific chain, obviously, and then you have all things related to trading and building financial tool has to be done inside Polkadot ecosystem via Polkadex itself. So we
Mm-hmm.
have released this product just to make sure that we are from a common Joe for a day trader, from institutions or investors or project, we are able to complete that whole circle by giving a whole single package, if you will, if you call it an end-to-end system that also connects to different, because now we are a parachain. We do have this technology advancement to connect to different parachain and share liquidity to them. So it's just not about building ecosystem of your own, but connecting with
All.
different protocols to have those shared value add in a very granular level. So that was the philosophy of releasing products. And again, we Polkadex order book is still is going to be released. IDEO is going to release. On the other hand, we built a Thea protocol that is more of a that allows Polkadex to be interoperable with different layer one
Oh, lovely.
protocols as well, be it
Lovely.
Ethereum, be it Solana, Avalanche, Algorand. So we are going to start with Ethereum itself, and though
Mm-hmm.
it's more of a gradual process, to be frank, because you cannot build a bridge that is secure enough, that's stable enough to in day one you can have a lot of transactions to be done. So we are finally structuring our strategy to implement Thea protocol long term, not short term itself. We are not going to release it in the immediate steps to be taken. So all these things done to make sure that we are building an ecosystem, not just a product around it. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So with Thea protocol, you're going to link Ethereum first and then subsequently the other chains that are there. Awesome. I think so
That's a
that
long term plan. Yeah.
that's a long term, and it makes sense to be multi-chain. It's the time is to be present on all chain. All right. So, what are your plans? So, this has been what you guys have been doing for last 1 year, right? So, what is the plan for the next 2022? What are you looking at? Are you looking at product launches? What product launches? How does your roadmap look like?
Sure. So the immediate priority for us is this year our focus will be making sure that our product are stable and secure enough. And that's something it's not a time bounded strategy, right? It has to be
Totally.
seen through until you realize that okay, now we are at a position to be going full throttle, if you will. So the
Mm-hmm.
first, we have different strategies in play, and just to make sure that I highlight one of the most critical part is releasing products on the mainnet is the first
Uh-huh.
step toward it, and then going with a bug bounty program to allow from people from web3 from the hacking community to come interact with the product, help us find the loopholes, help us find what we are missing, what we have missed out maybe, and then making sure that okay, we patch that problems, and we are at least allocating, I believe, 3 to 4 months for that, just to make sure that we are inviting hackers to kind of hack our system, report it to us, make sure that okay, everything is going. So the first priority for any DeFi project is not just to make sure that your product is scalable enough, but that scalability and the growth factor comes at a very later stage. You don't want to do it within the day you launch it, because again it's something you're building from the scratch, you're building from with your own team, a lot of ideation, a lot of things have happened. So the priority for at least a quarter will be focusing on user feedback from hackers, from making sure that products are working, are stable enough, are secure enough, they are working as the way that we thought it would. Of course, it's definitely been seen in the testnet already. So by the end of October or November, we will have a clear understanding of what all improvement we have to do
Mm-hmm.
by receiving the last 3 months of feedback. So that is something our first target for this year. And once that is done, when you have made sure that you have made you, of course, you cannot be 100% sure, but after a certain extent, you know that okay, things are working really well, and now
Mm-hmm.
you can open it to more public, to have more financial tools to build. To extend those features and allow more deposit and withdrawals. So all this kind of a thing is kind of a second to the first of priority, making sure that we release the bug bounty program and all that thing. So that is something of a priority, especially for this year. And next year, obviously, our focus will be building financial tools, having leverage, building derivatives, and a lot of things we have in our mind. But not looking for a long term, but again looking for what is immediate to us is something. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So tell me something. This looks like a really amazing roadmap, and I think it's a very thought through plan where you guys are looking at, ensuring that it's product first, ensuring that the community is secure and they're getting the best product out there, rather than just, ensuring that it's a mainnet launch and don't care. So love the thought about how you are ensuring to keep the ecosystem together and going about building the ecosystem and not just ensuring just
Right.
wanting to release a product out there. So when now it's a question, we are today in a market where the bear market, and your idea started when the bull market was starting, and you launched it in a full at a peak of a bull market, to seeing raising funds during that time, to now seeing the bear market coming in. What, as an entrepreneur, how has your journey been like, and any learnings that you have here, and what do you feel, how has it affected Polkadot's journey in any way, or what has been the scenario there?
Absolutely. So when we received the Web3 Open Grant program, it was way back in August. That time, the market was still in the bearish phase, soon going
Mm-hmm.
to be bullish. That
Hmm.
time, I still remember Bitcoin was trading at 10K, 10 or 11K. That's what. So we have been this cycle. We have seen the bearish, we have seen the bullish. Again, we are seeing the bearish. For
Hmm.
us, again, nothing changes from a strategy standpoint or from the internal plans that we have already, because we are sufficiently funded. We have built a big team focusing on different sides of things, and now in general perspective, for most of the project, it's more of a this is a very sweet time to build products, to correct the factors that you have been missed out so far. So nothing has changed. I believe not just the market that we are seeing right now. In generally speaking, this correction was supposed to happen, and we already kind of had this notion that this is soon going to happen, sooner than later itself. And our market is soon going to be not just Web3, but the whole financial market through a big correction factor, just to make
Mhm.
sure that whatever the inflations and the value injected in the market kind of correct itself to make it again in that very neutral position. So we had this thought in our mind, and seeing happening is something assures the way that we thought about it. And definitely this is again not about and this market will shows which products are bringing value, on which all products are kind of a more going into the hype cycle, all that thing. But for us itself, we have been blessed with the right time itself, building products, and soon going to be released in the market itself. So for us, it's been kind of a neutral way that we look at any market so far. So
Awesome. Also, with the market, the Indian, specifically the Indian market, has been
yeah.
bombarded with the 30% capital gain tax and a 1% TDS, with the news going about, GST might come in or something or the other, right? Has that affected your journey or demotivated you, or, what is your stance? I would like to also know about the taxation as such, in the country, and how do you see that market is going?
I believe it to be a positive action. The reason being, from where it started, it was really dark, but the
Mhm.
action took by the Indian government is to make sure that they are at least recognizing digital assets. So that's, and again, it comes when you recognize the digital assets, the taxation against come along with that. That nothing, once it's been recognized on a national level, there is a taxation, there should be regulation in place. So I, on the other hand, believe that this step was at least a very good step taken by the government. On the other
Mhm.
hand, again, there's a high capital gain on that, and that's something you have to cope up. You cannot get the best of both the worlds again. So I took it in a very positive way. The whole team has not been affected by it, even our project itself. So yeah, so far it's been very positive for us from a from the way that is going in the market, but directly it's not been affecting us. So yeah.
Awesome. And coming back to the earlier bear market question, I have another question to ask there. What do you think? So when will this bear market end, and where do you see the bull market coming in?
Damn. No comment so far for this one, to be frank. Yeah,
All right.
because this is something that doesn't affect us, so we really don't put that in mind. And again, we are very cautious of how the market will turn around.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we are not so sure how long this correction factor will go. To be frank, we knew that this is going to happen, but for how long, it's something to what extent the correction has to be done. So that's something uh, we still have to see, and you know go
Totally,
along with that.
totally,
Yeah, yeah.
totally understand that. All right, one more thing. So you recently, guys, in May only won the Parachain grant on Polkadot. So what is that about? What is that grant about? And how is that? What the experience has been? And if anybody wants to be like, what your journey is going to look like from there, and how it has helped you. I'd like to know all about it.
Absolutely. So we are following a multi-chain infrastructure where we have this mainnet solo chain that is already up and running, and then we have the parachain as well. The whole
Mm-hmm.
purpose of having a parachain is to have the share liquidity with other parachain itself. So once you
Mm-hmm.
become a parachain, you have this share security handled by the Polkadot itself.
All
By
of it.
and then once you become a parachain, you do have the freedom to collaborate with other parachain, building some different value add for their community itself. Maybe it can be lending, borrowing, it can be an EVM compatibility or whatever that is. So it really depends what other parachains are building and how they can leverage your ecosystem, and how you know the vice versa for itself. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something it's only been done in the Polkadot ecosystem. The interoperability you can actually see in reality happening within the ecosystem, and it's been really amazing for us as well. I believe we received the total dot contribution was around 973,000 dot, coming majorly from the retail dot contribution. That
Wow.
also shows that how to what extent they are believing in us, and it also kind of if you prorate it, you also see that they are going to use our product, because there's again a morale to it, again a contribution. The reason being contribution is not just incentive, but again they believe in what you're building, and they want to use that product itself. So it's been an amazing ride. I believe we are working closely. We recently did a partnership with Akala, one of the
Mhm.
parachain from the dot ecosystem, and soon going to partner with many other parachains as well, and build a more of a partnership collaboration where we are in this together. And the best way to have a growth is not just by one product, but building relations with other parachains and for the greater good of the ecosystem ultimately ultimately creates wealth for the community, for the ecosystem, for your own product itself indirectly. So yeah.
Makes sense. Awesome. Congratulations on that. And I'm sure that, it's going to take Polkadex to another level from here with that grant there.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, just to, on a lighter note, when you guys started, it was COVID. So it was a,
Right.
remote project. And I remember last time you guys were, I think so, 5-member team
Right.
working
Right.
remotely from across the country.
Right.
Now it's 1 year with the COVID scenario totally going away. So how has that? Have you been, has the team increased or still, a remote team? So how is that dynamics going about?
Absolutely. It's We started with three founders ourselves, and we had this first few team
Mm,
members joining us way back in, I believe, early 2021, and now we are a team of 20 plus members, and we are always hiring for all these positions that we are always promoting on the LinkedIn and all our social media platforms, and we are always inviting people to, hey, check out our product. If you see
mhm.
that you can be a gap filler, you think that okay, this is a value add that you can give, feel free to send us the resume or whatever you believe that we are missing out, or may you think that okay, this is something you can add value. We are always inviting people for that. And right now, as I believe, we are increasing our team, and if someone knows Rust language, I have done some small projects. We are always hiring interns, developers. So yeah, that's something we are constantly hiring because we always want best talent to be associated with us no matter what. So
Correct.
yeah.
So is it going to be a remote?
And again, just to it's I
No, no,
thought this
please.
question is gonna come. So yeah, right now, again, from a very practical level, there's a saturation till what you can, how much you can be productive when you work from online, right? But
Mm,
now we realize that we have come to a stage where we are shifting from a product development mindset to a more of a product scale up and growth mindset. In that situations where you're more focusing on improving the product rather than developing the product, it's good to have the team in a single place where you share ideas, where knowledge has been transferred and is channeled out, like circulating in anything. So we are shifting our team from work from home, and surprising, everyone is interested, everyone is happy about it. They just want to leave their hometown and get to a place where everyone is there with the same mindset. So we are shifting to Bangalore in a couple of months now, and yeah, yeah,
awesome. I think so. We all are, fed up with the family being on our heads while sitting at home and working, and missing working with our team, and having those small moments of laughter and team building
yeah.
activities. That's a lovely journey you guys have had. Deepansh, for last 1 year, from being 5 people to, I'm guessing now, you guys are in double numbers. Reaching, crossing 30 or even reaching 50, to having built and launched Polka Dex, your chain, to everything that has been there. It's a beautiful journey, and I've been closely following you guys, and keep interacting and going learning about it. So lovely to see from where you guys started to where you are. Thank you for taking out time and updating us all about what you guys have been doing. Would like to let you have the platform, and have any message for the community, any ask, anything that you want to share, any announcement you want to do, please. This is the time you can ask that.
And definitely, one thing is, if feel free to share our social media platforms, since we are soon going to release our products on testnet. We invite everyone to check it out. So the more engagement we receive from everyone across the web, not just Web3 ecosystem, but in general, that will definitely help us in the feedback loop itself. So that's something. Yeah.
Awesome. So guys, do follow them, do share out, and let's get them, let's test their product, and give them a positive feedback. So we have another really good project coming out of from the Indian ecosystem. All right. Thank you, Deepansh, for talking to us, and thank you everyone for joining in. Loved all the questions, all the encouragement that you have been showing to the Panch and Polkadex team here. We keep look forward to getting some more updates and news about Polkadex. And guys, keep
Thank you,
following.
Manav.
Thank you, and keep following us for all the updates related to initialized metaverse and what we are doing, and learning about new good projects like Polkadex and what they have been doing, and their journeys about. Thank you all, and good night.
Thank you.
Bye.